Alright, so today I'm going to be trying to use this GorillaPod to hold my camera somewhere in my car here and hopefully be able to record while driving without too much road noise or without having to hold the camera while I drive. So let's see how that goes. So I'm hoping this new mounting spot for the camera in my car isn't too noisy or too shaky. If I could make the roads here a little smoother, I would, and then I wouldn't have that issue. Anyways, so today my plan is to go to the Corolla, pull out the last of the front suspension, so my subframe, steering rack, like disconnect it from the control arms and knuckles. Just pull out everything that's left in the front geometry so I can start cleaning it, and yeah. So gonna head to the Corolla. We're gonna maybe get my rear calipers off so I can work on painting those. I've got a couple of rebuild kits for my calipers coming from Yahoo Auctions Japan, which is super sweet. Yeah, what else am I doing? I'm doing something. So I sandblasted the faces of my Hayashis, which was kind of dumb because I did that after I'd already polished my lips. So now I have to re-polish the lips. I'll show you that later as well. And yeah, so today I'm just gonna be pulling the front suspension out and we'll see what happens. So I'm about to attempt again to get my tie rod end separate from the knuckle here. It appears I will need a new ball joint as well because mine's split open. Alright, so I tried explaining it on the other side, but apparently my camera didn't record. But for this tool, not only did I bring the I didn't bring the right size socket for here, but I also left my 1/2" regular ratchet at work. So I am using vice grips for this. Sorry Tyler, sorry about your tool. Didn't mark it up on the other side, so hopefully all goes well on this side. But yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so we're 2 for 2 now, which is great. Unfortunately, again, I stopped recording just before it shot out. Yeah, so that's done. Both sides are out. You can see my split boot over here, which is perfect. Yeah, no real resistance in anything anymore. I mean, ball joint still felt kind of alright on both sides, but yeah, let's keep going. Alright, so here we go. Just the impact on and it's in there. There we go. And we are loosey-goosey now. Okay, so I got my steering rack out. Also, I know most of you are amateurs like me, you know. Anyways, even as an amateur, highly recommend a 3/8 impact gun like this. It makes life so much faster. More skids. This is looking at you guys. Speed. And there's number 2. So now, tension rod undone, and my control arm is now free except for where it connects to the crossmember subframe. So one side ready to come out, other side's gonna be ready pretty quick here. Got a tension rod out on both sides, and bushings sound real good. Super stoked about that. Pretty sure I showed you guys how dirty this was before, but I figured I'd show you again. So like, here, let me just scoop. Like, it's physically so thick that you can scoop it up. Gonna wash that off. And I guess that's what I'll pull out next, because now there's nothing holding it in other than the 4 bolts and control arms, which are totally disconnected. So let's do it. I just wanted to show you guys something that I thought was kind of funny and sad. There was so much oil coming out of the engine and transmission in the engine bay that it actually soaked into the undercoat on the outside of my my engine bay from the inside. Like, the cross member is just soaked. It's unreal.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so subframe is totally out of the car over here. I also put the transmission on the floor, and I was going to show you guys a little bit of that, but I got distracted when I realized my speedo cable was still attached and my shifter was still attached and the ground that is still attached was still attached. And so I got really distracted by the fact that I was holding the transmission up while I was trying to do everything that I forgot to do before. Anyways, yeah, so that's probably it for working on the car for today. Now I'll probably yeah. Alright, so right now I am at work, well, in the shop at work anyways. I just sprayed this cross member down with some oil off solution, and you can actually see how much oil is in it just by the color of the degreaser running off of it. And I'm going to pressure wash it and see what it looks like. Wow, it's actually clean underneath. There's a lot of ick coming off of it. Alright, so I just finished drying off, for the most part, my subframe. And I am fairly happy with how it turned out. It's all still got paint on it, there's no real rust starting, so I am content with that. So I'm going to order new ball joints and probably strip the paint off of the lower control arms when I do the bushings, repaint them, and yeah, hopefully should turn out quite visually and handling wise fairly well, fairly nice.
2 weeks later.
Alright guys, so my suspension I brought to the wheel clinic here for powder coating and sandblasting and powder coating. Give it that new OEM sort of look, and man, the wheel clinic absolutely killed it. I'm so stoked with how these turned out. So here is one control arm. You know, there's some marking in it, and like you can see the texture here from where the front of the arm is getting pelted with rocks for the last 30 years. But this is absolutely incredible. Like in here, in all these little crevices, all of it's done, and I am incredibly stoked to put these back in the car with and oh, they did my sway bar as well and pieces of my subframe, and I'm just beyond stoked at how well these turned out. And yeah, just massive shout out to the wheel clinic. These guys do an incredible job at what they do, and 110% would recommend them if you need wheels refinished or sandblasting or powder coating in Edmonton. Now we are going to head back to work, and I'm going to put my new bushings in and then head to the Corolla to start putting everything back in the car and make it a car again. Alright, so now off to the car we go. Gonna throw my manual steering rack in today, and yeah, hopefully get her back on the ground with some wheels on. Alright, so I've got my manual rack here, and it's a real manual rack, not just a pinched off power rack. And it's kind of connected to the rest of like a Corolla front end. So I've got to disassemble it and get these ends out, so I'm just gonna spray some WD-40 in here to hopefully make it a little bit easier when I start trying to press these out. You want to fit over yet? There. Aha. Great success. Spray a little bit more of that in and let it sit for a couple minutes. Okay, so I've now got my special little fork tool thing on here to push it out on the knuckle because it doesn't want to come on its own. I'm hoping I don't rip the boot, but we'll see. And last time I did this was with the ones that were on the car, and they were in there pretty good, and it was like tightened really far, and I like touched it and it popped out really kind of violently. So I'm hoping that it doesn't do it right now, and I don't want to say. Oh. Okay, never mind. That was way easier than I envisioned. I did not rip the boot. That's just covered in WD-40. Sick, that's a success. Even though the inner tie rod's kind of... Oh, yeah, that's pooched. Oh well, whatever. Okay, so now we're on to the other side. Let's see if this one's any more aggressive. Oh, nice. Okay, that one was easy too. Sick. So today's going well so far. Other than the part where I forgot the rims at home, which I meant to bring with me. But that's whatever. They need tires anyways, so. So I got the manual steering rack all bolted in, like super hyped. I'm like, yeah, just one more thing to do. Just connect the steering shaft, and then I'm ready to, you know, put it down and roll it. And then I'm like, oh, right there, and then right there. And I'm like, oh. So, that's a bummer. I didn't read up enough, I guess, so I gotta do something here. So, while I'm sitting here being sad about the fact that I don't have a rack joint and steering shaft, I've sent some messages out. I'm gonna see if I can get something soon. I'm putting in my 5.1 kilogram Swift springs and KYB short stroke struts in the back. So I'm just trying to get this one off right now. It's being a little more difficult than the other side because the bushing is actually still intact over here. On the other side, it just sort of crumbled, so I gotta figure out a way to, oh, okay, good, here. Okay. Alright guys, so we're back here at the Corolla. I've got my cross member in, and these two little subframe pieces, sway bar, everything I pre-assembled at work with the new Prothane bushings and stuff in it. I have no transmission in the car anymore. I'm going to at least clean this one up good because it's quite nasty and the shift boots split and whatever. But yeah, so let's get this back together. Yeah, so I got new the tension rod bushings, sway bar bushings, and control arm bushings and end links. Alright, so I really am quite terrible at, you know, actually remembering to film what I'm doing, so here I am right now attempting to do up the end link. I got my new ball joint in on this side, and then going to throw the coilover in on this side. So yeah, let's tighten her up. Yeah, so here we are. Here are my Techno Toy Tuning coilovers that I just finished. So I do believe that this is how the top goes together. Yeah, just finishing putting that one back together. I forgot which top hat went on which side, so that's what I just finished swapping. So yeah, let's get this in car.
Keep it real, son. Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so to wrap up, I got both front coilovers installed, which I'm stoked about. Yeah, so built both of these today. Packed the wheel bearings and things. I got both bolts done up. These are tight, all is tight. End links are in now. Control arms are all buttoned up. And yeah, so again, thanks for watching and hope to have you stick around for more videos. Alright, so long story short, the dealership I work at closes at 8. They kick all of us technicians out of the shop, doesn't matter what we're working on. And I couldn't find the lug nuts for my snowflake wheels because they take like this flat mount Toyota lug nut. Anyways, couldn't find them, and I thought, oh, I'll just demount the tires off them, put them on the Hayashis tonight, because the Hayashis are done drying from paint, which is super sick. And I left the garage at 7. I thought I was way earlier, but I left the garage at 7. Had to drive home, pick up the Hayashis from my garage, then drive to work, demount the tires from the Hayashis, or from the snowflakes, put them on the Hayashis, and balance them, and all of this under an hour. And so I like mentally did some, math and calculations and guessing, and I said, okay, I'll probably make it home at 7:30, and then if I just bomb to the dealership, earliest I'll get there 7:45. That gives me 15 minutes to mount and balance. Well, guess what? I did it. I got there at 7:46 and demounted and then mounted and balanced those tires off of the snowflakes onto the Hayashis in 15 minutes. I'm just super stoked. Alright, so I have got my wheels on the car, put the hood on, I've cleaned out everything from underneath it, and now we're going to set her down for the first time in 6 or so months. Alright, so I've just finally set the car down now, and it is way lower than before. I love it.